This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview. Marula Mining have provided an update on its Kusi copper mine in Tanzania, where open pit mining of the number 4 pit focused on high-grade copper ore continues. Well, joining us now is CEO Jason Brewer. Jason, how are you?
I'm well, Mark. Very well. Good to speak to you.
Thank you very much for your time, as always, Jason. I wonder if we can perhaps just go through this RNS in a bit more detail. So it's projected to contain between 10 to 15 million tonnes of copper and, of course, other metals. But really, how are things going on site here with the work that's going on?
Yeah, look, we've had new equipment up there since the beginning of October. So the past 4 weeks, that new equipment has led to an increase in the mining of the high-grade visible ore body that you can see in many of the pictures that we've put out on social media. And you can see it in the pit wall. So we're mining that. We're stockpiling that. It's being sorted on site. And we've got samples which are going through to South Africa. And we will then do 3 trial shipments into the UK and into Europe. So it's proceeding quite well.
Okay, good. And you're expecting to have that equipment in place by the end of the year and then targeting that 24,000 tonnes per annum of copper concentrate. And then you're looking to get the processing plant in place really quite swiftly in the new year?
Yeah, look, I mean, we came out at the end of September and put forward the new development plan for Kusi. That new development plan was put forward because I guess we've learned a lot more about Kusi over the past several months, and the plans for those, if you want to call it those quick wins, have changed to being long-term gains and big gains. So when we looked at the project, we worked with consultants who are currently working in Zambia and previously in the DRC on some of the largest copper mining operations there. They came to site, they reviewed it, and they've put forward this 2-phase processing plant, of which that first phase will be awarding the contract later this quarter, and it will be installed and commissioned early in Q1 2025.
And in terms of the commissioning of the plant then, Jason, what are we talking here? I think before you talked about, a couple of months or something, but what's the projected time frame?
I think I posted something out, the installation and commissioning is like a 40 to 50 day period to get completed. So it's a very conventional gravity jig plant, which will be put in place very quickly by their team, the team that we award the contract to for its installation. And yeah, it'll be installed and commissioned within 2 months.
Okay, good. Early in the new year. I wonder if you can talk any more about the material being supplied next month. This is just the ore, not the concentrate, but it is high grade, average of 20%. What prices are you getting based on the current LME prices per tonne?
Yeah, look, we've got 3 types of mineralization there. Grade A, B, and C. The grade A material is about 30% copper, grade B 20 to 30, and then if we refer to it as our lower grade material, which is that 10 to 20% material. So that is going through that will be going through that initial phase 1 processing plant. At the moment, we are mining the grade A material, so we're stockpiling what we believe is plus 30% material. That will be transported through to Dar once we've done these 3 samples, which are already taken and are now being exported down to South Africa. But we will be looking at getting that material out. Based on the current LME price is about $9,600 per tonne. For 20% copper material, you're getting paid 64% of LME, and then you times that by your grade. So that comes out for a 20% concentrate there. You're getting paid about $1,230 a tonne. If you go up to a 25% concentrate, you're getting paid 70% of LME times your 25%. So you're getting close to $1,700 a tonne. We've gone out, our mining costs on site are about $15 a tonne. To transport it to Dar, and this is our worst case for the initial 3 trial shipments. We'll be looking at crushing it bagging it and loading it up in Dar es Salaam at the port there. Total cost coming in at about $125 a ton. So you're making about $1,000 for the 20% material. You're making about $1,000, just over $1,000 a ton of ore, which we sell. So we're doing about 750 tons. So some quite good earnings just off those 3 trial shipments for sure.
And just moving on here to some questions from shareholders. Is there a reason why the company decided not to sell copper ore during the earlier part of this year, when it seems to have been pretty quick to set up, as we've seen recently? This may have brought in revenues earlier.
Yeah, I think what we had a new appointment out of South Africa, Jana Van Wyk. Jana is a copper geologist, copper metallurgist, worked at Copper 360, a very successful, a very successful South African copper company that's based up there in the Northern Cape and producing copper cathode. We got her involved to really come in and look and give us a fresh view on Kusi. We then got one of the top metallurgists, a guy called Darren McGaw, used to work up in the DRC on some big copper operations there. He's currently here in Zambia. I'm currently in Zambia at the moment, Mark. He's here in Zambia working on a UK company's copper mining operation, processing operation, Moxico Resources. Got them both to come and have a look and give us a proper assessment. And I guess what they presented to us was that these quick wins, and I'm all for quick wins, you know that, I'm all for quick wins, but we would not do injustice to what we had. So the process and the plans which they've put forward certainly make up for any delays in getting product out. So within the first 2-3 months here of operating in line with what they're advising, we will make up for 6 to 9 months of any potential delays. So we've held back based upon the recommendations of our technical team. Those recommendations have now been incorporated, and we're pushing forward.
Okay, and you've talked about the copper concentrate plant there being ordered and to be set up in the new year. But another question here off of that was, if the samples sent off to potential offtake customers influence the design, to what extent will the part of the previously constructed plant be utilised?
Yeah, we're sending it through there for the final optimization. The initial phase 1 plant is very conventional gravity jig plant, and we're very confident in that's going to give us a very good grade material. The samples we've sent, which are both the A, B, and C material there, ranging from 10 all the way through to 30%, that just gives us better knowledge, a full suite of the metallurgy. So when we are actually selling that con, we know what's exactly in it, because there has been clear examples of the ore of having visible gold. And we know that some of the local miners in and around Kusi are mining the gold down in the rivers and getting anywhere from 6 to up to 15 grams per ton of gold. So when we do this, we will get a better understanding of the mineralogy. We'll get a better understanding of exactly that product suite of minerals there, and work out exactly how best to optimize not just the phase 1 plant, but the phase 2, where we will be producing the copper cathode.
And just some clarity, if we can, on the phase 1 and phase 2. I think we've covered this before, but the intention is to effectively feed phase 1 concentrate into phase 2. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll initially, for the first half of 2025, we'll be aiming to achieve those 24,000 ton per annum throughputs of the concentrate. So about 2,000 tons per month of sales, which equates, based upon a 20% copper grade, you're going to be getting revenues of net cash flow to the company of between $2 and $2.5 million. And then in the second half, with the installation of the heap leach and the copper SXEW, solvent extraction electrowinning plant, then you'll be producing the copper cathode. And instead of receiving, as I said earlier, between $1,250 a ton and $1,700, you'll be receiving the LME cathode price, which at the moment is $9,600 a ton.
And in terms of transport and logistics, how do these compare for Kusi relative to the challenges at Blesberg in South Africa?
Dar is a very well-established port. Road haulage throughout East Africa is incredible. Mark, when you get up here early next year or late this year, you'll be able to see just how how extensive that container transportation network is. So we're working with global transportation and logistics companies here. There's no shortage of haulage vehicles. There's no haulage of containers, and we will be selling this in containers initially. So yeah, we're not concerned about any of the challenges that we faced earlier in the year down in South Africa for Blesberg.
So just another question here about delays. We've seen some delays with other materials that we are processing, such as the lithium and the manganese. Do you foresee any reason why we should not be producing in Q1 2025?
We're producing now, Mark. We're actually producing stockpiled, sorted, high-grade copper ores. So continuing that production throughout November, December, through the Christmas break, into the new year and Q1 2025. No, what you'll see is additional mobile mining equipment arrive on site over the course of Q4, and that will allow us early in Q1 2025 to really ramp up production to much higher levels. So we're already producing. We are already stockpiling ore.
Good. And ramping up production to much higher levels, then how long do you think it will take to ramp up production to full copper concentrate?
No, look, I mean, the full capacity will kick in as soon as that plant's there. I mean, we've got stockpiled material. We'll be doing between 500 and 750 tons of trial shipments this month. And we've already spoken with all three of those offtake groups that have approached us on that. One of them has been very proactive in terms of providing us with parties to basically manage it all the way from Kusi through to Dar. So that's been fantastic. It clearly demonstrates their appetite for the material. So yeah, I'm very comfortable about where we are with Kusi going forward. Very, very comfortable.
Okay, so Marula will be producing, selling copper, producing, selling lithium, and producing, selling manganese throughout Q1 into Q2 2025?
Yeah, I mean, look, my target has always been to have in this quarter 3 producing assets. I said it earlier in the year, I'm saying it now. So manganese, comfortable with there. We've got new equipment on its way up there. We've been drilling, we're blasting, I think, on Sunday. So there's more crushed material there. So you'll have further increased sales out of the manganese. Kalifi, the modifications to the plant will be completed in November. So you'll have throughput going through there, end of November, beginning of December. So yeah, we will categorically achieve those targets of having 3 producing operations by the end of this year. And I haven't even mentioned Blesberg there. So yeah, you've got 3, 4. So I'm very confident across all of them. Just on Blesberg, people have asked about Blesberg. CPR has been delayed. Yes, it has, because our competent person who signs off on that requested additional assays and samples of some very high value minerals that were identified in the mineral suite there. The TOMRA unit is being transported to site to be commissioned. So we're really transforming both the TOMRA operations, the full XRF Rados TOMRA operations at Blesberg this quarter. And of course, we're pushing ahead with that JV with the Chinese as well. So a lot happening with us.
And I think you're in London, aren't you, Jason, on the 12th of November for the Aqueous presentation sort of day. Investors can go and meet you in person, I think, can't they?
Yeah, they can, actually, Mark. So I'm there pretty much for that week. The Aqueous thing is on the 12th. So there you can get tickets for that. I'll be presenting there, presenting very aggressively, because I think, people have got to start really recognizing what value we have. Share price has been, it's been shocking over the past weeks. And, personally, that's very disappointing for me, being one of the biggest shareholders. So, yeah, I'm disappointed with that. It hurts. It cuts deep. So I'll be presenting very hard whilst in London that week, not just at the Aqueous showdown, but then you've got later in that week, you've got the one-to-one conference as well. So getting in front of a lot of people, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks before that, there'll be a lot of deliverables, actual deliverables, which we had to get out to the market so people can see that this isn't just hot air from me. This is actual people on the ground delivering. And I think, guys, stop playing the man, play the ball. Look at what is actually happening on the ground with these operations. The mining at Kusi, you can see the mining, the drilling, the crushing and the screening on the manganese. Guys, the TOMRA unit being moved at Blesberg, this is actually happening. This isn't me just coming up with, this is fact. You can see this, And this will have material benefits to the company and its shareholders as we move through this quarter.
Well, I'll be going there as well, Jason, so I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. Maybe we can do an interview in person there with some questions from shareholders as always. But for now, Jason Brewer, the CEO of Marula Mining, thank you very much for your time.
It'll be great. Yes, look forward to it.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.